Welcome back to Press Review, MidEast In-Depth. Today we will be looking at Syria and the status of the refugees in the Lebanon and in Europe. Europe has a poor track record when it comes to Syrian refugees fleeing the civil war. Germany would like to better that a bit by accepting larger groups of contingent refugees. Of the country's original 22 million inhabitants, some 2.8 million have fled abroad. According to data from the UN's human rights agency, the UNHCR, of the 19 million remaining, roughly 1 in 3 has been internally displaced, seeking safety from bombs and raids by leaving their homes but staying in the country. But who's taking the refugees in? The Deutsche Welle reports that most refugees have left Syria now reside in neighboring countries. The Lebanon has borne the largest burden. The small country of 4.5 million is providing refuge for more than 1 million Syrians. The next largest groups of refugees are sheltered in Turkey, Jordan, Iraq and Egypt respectively. The Deutsche Welle says it's the Lebanon that EU countries have committed themselves to helping, but to do so they'll take on specific contingents of refugees. In May 2013, Germany agreed to grant 5,000 Syrians asylum. They raised the number to 10,000 in December. Human rights organizations criticized the move as too limited in scope. The groups have said it takes far too long to choose those to be accepted into the placement program. There were reportedly over 75,000 applicants from the second set of 5,000 spots. Also on refugees, let's see what The Economist has written on those of them who are in Lebanon. Several of the thousands of Syrians in Lebanon who flocked to their embassy in Beirut to vote for President Assad in the elections of June the 3rd. More and more Syrians are finding themselves unable to renew their passports, just as Lebanon is becoming more reluctant to host them. Lebanon's government has proposed a raft of new policies for Syrians. There are now reckoned to be 1.1 million Syrian refugees in Lebanon and probably almost as many Syrians who have been working as long-term laborers and migrants who have not registered with the UN's High Commission for Refugees. First, the Lebanese minister announced that anyone returning to Syria after June the 1st would be stripped of his or her refugee status on return to Lebanon. And then on June the 4th, the Social Affairs Minister suggested that only Syrians fleeing from areas close to the border with Lebanon would be allowed to enter. Human rights organizations are worried by both proposals and by the increasingly hostile language being used towards Syrians in Lebanon. Lebanon clearly faces a predicament. In a country of only 4 million citizens, Syrians now amount to between a quarter to a third of the total population. Services and infrastructure, already creaking, are overburdened. And for their part, Syrians in Lebanon feel they are running out of options. Visas to anywhere except Turkey and Jordan are almost impossible to get. Many of them feel trapped in a country that does not welcome them, yet they have nowhere else to go. And now we are joined over the phone by Gwyn Williams of Feed the Hungry. Thank you very much for joining Press Review.
Yeah, pleasure.
Which is better, in your opinion, Mr. Williams, and why? To lobby for a policy that brings refugees into Europe or work on alleviating their sufferings and get them back to their homes in Syria, situation permitting, of course?
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's a balance to this where people love their nation and people love where they've been brought up and where they've grown up as families. And it's important for them to have that connection. At the same time, you know, the politics of the day might mean that it's important that a few parts of the population are relocated to help ease the situation and to bring about peace in Syria.
And what is the biggest dilemma that is facing NGOs, especially when it comes to delivering aid efficiently into Syria? And do you think things will get better under the new term of President Assad?
Yeah, the situation is very unpredictable and very fluid, and there's no continuity of supply routes into the different areas in Syria. Because of the war and the different rebel groups continually changing area locations in the parts of the occupation, and So it doesn't allow the freedom of movement to allow aid to get to the innocent people in these circumstances, for the children and for families who have taken a very neutral view on the situation. So it's but you know, everybody needs feeding, but everybody needs to bring the powers that be to the peace table. And if the continuity of the president helps bring about continuity and allows the peace process to come forward, then it's a good step forward.
Gwyn Williams of Feed the Hungry in the UK, thank you very much for being on MidEast In-Depth, part of Levant TV's Press Review. Thank you.
Thank you.
And for more updates, please visit levant.tv. Thanks for watching and bye for now.